Just before we start this video, if you have any questions at all, you can leave them in the comments section down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Also, you can subscribe and turn on notifications and you will never miss an upload. I also upload daily content on Instagram as well as TikTok, so be sure to follow me so that you don't miss out on any more maths content in the future. Enjoy the video. So for the first few questions, they're going to be really straightforward, and I'm going to go through them quite slowly, explaining my reasoning behind each line of working out and so on, just so that you get a really good understanding of the basic principles in algebra and linear equations. And then as the questions get progressively harder, I'm going to not explain the basic stuff as much and just do the key pieces of information for each question and go through them at a bit of a faster rate. Okay, so starting with question 1, we need to solve 3x plus 4 equals 17. So the idea for linear equations is we need to get the x value, which is 3x in this case, to be on its own in the equation. Okay, so how do we get 3x to be on its own? And when I say on its own, I mean on one side of the equal sign with nothing else there. So what we need to do for this one is we can take 4 away from both sides of the equation. And that's really important because we can't just take 4 away from this side. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other. So if we take 4 away from both sides of this equation, we are left with 3x on the left hand side, and that is now equal to 13. So the next step is we need to get just x to be on its own. So we need to get rid of this 3. So what we need to do is we need to divide both sides of the equation by 3 this time. So dividing both sides by 3, we are left with x is equal to 13 over 3. And that's the final answer for question 1. So just to recap, the first thing is we need to get the x term to be on its own. And once the x term is on its own, we then need to just leave it in the form of x. Okay, so for question 2, we've got 7 take away 4x equals 10. So the first thing to do, as this time we have a negative x value, is we need to turn this into a positive x value. It's just much easier to work with, and for the final answer we won't have to convert from a negative to a positive. So to turn this negative 4x into positive 4x, we're going to plus 4x to both sides of the equation. Doing so, we are left with 7 is equal to 10 plus 4x, remembering to plus 4 to both sides. Okay, the next step is to get the x term, 4x, to be on its own on one side of the equation. So we do this by taking 10 away from both sides. Doing so, we get minus 3 is equal to 4x. And the final step is to get the x to be on its own. So to get the x on its own, we need to divide both sides of the equation by 4. And we are left with negative 3 over 4, 3/4, is equal to x. Question 3, 13 take away 2x is equal to 6. Okay, same as the last question, we need to turn the negative 2x into a positive 2x. And we do so by plussing 2x to both sides of the equation. So we've got 13 is equal to 6 plus 2x. Next step is to get the x term to be on its own. So in this case, we're going to take 6 away from both sides of the equation to get 7 is equal to 2x. And the final step, to get x on its own, we divide both sides of the equation by 2 to get 7 divided by 2 is equal to x. Question 4. Bit different this time, as we've got a 5 and then we've got some brackets and then it equals 30. So the first thing to do is we need to solve these brackets, and we do so by expanding. And when we expand the brackets, we multiply the value outside, which is 5, by everything on the inside. So 5 multiplied by x, as well as 5 multiplied by 3. So when we do this, we get 5 times x, which is 5x, plus, there's a plus sign here, 5 times 3, which is 15, and this is equal to 30. From here, it's very similar to the previous questions. We just need to get the x term to be on its own. So we take 15 away from both sides to get 5x is now equal to 15. And the final step is to divide both sides of the equation by 5 to get the x on its own. So we are left with x is equal to 3. Question 5 is very similar to the previous question. We've got some brackets and we need to expand them firstly. So 4 times x gives us 4x. 4 times, this time it's -1, so 4 times -1 is -4. And this is equal to 18. Next step is to get the x term to be on its own, to be plus 4 to both sides, to get 4x is equal to 22. And the final step is to get the x on its own, so we divide both sides of the equation by 4, to get x is equal to 22 over 4, which cancels down to 11 over 2. Question 6. We need to solve 6 brackets 3y plus 5 is equal to 39. First step is to expand the bracket, so 6 times 3y gives us 18y, and 6 times 5 gives us plus 30. And this is equal to 39. The next step is to get the y term to be on its own, so we take 30 away from both sides to get 18y is now equal to 9. And the final step is to get y on its own, so we do that by dividing both sides by 18. So we get y is equal to 9 divided by 18, which is the same as 1 over 2, 1/2. Okay, so question 7, this time we've got a variable, y, appearing multiple times in the question. So when we've got this, we need to do something called collecting like terms, and when we collect like terms, essentially we end up at the end of it with only one y in the question, okay? Or one set of y in the question. So the easiest way to eliminate one of these y terms is to subtract one from the other. So as the 6y is bigger than the 3y, what we do is we take 3y away from both sides, and doing so, this 3y is gone and this turns into 3y here. And then we are left with one set of y's in the question. So, taking 3y away from both sides, we have 3y take away 9 left on the left hand side, and this is now equal to 7. Next step is the same as every other previous question, so we plus 9 to both sides to get 3y now equal to 16. And the final step is to divide both sides of the equation by 3 to get y on its own, which is now equal to 16 over 3. I hope this video was useful, and if you've got any questions at all, you can always ask me in the comment section down below, or alternatively you can contact me on Instagram via DM and I'll be sure to help you out there. Don't forget to subscribe as well and turn on channel notifications, and then you will never miss an upload in the future. And of course, I upload daily on Instagram as well as TikTok, and if you want more maths content, be sure to follow me over there.